Have you ever noticed that there's an inaccessible third-story floor attached to Aerith's house? What about this bookcase on the second floor that just so happens to be the perfect fit like a puzzle piece into the corner? What in the world is the purpose of this dead end? We'll also try and figure out just what's for dinner, as well as many other oddities and mysterious designs of Aerith's house. Let's start with the design and floor layout of the first floor. When you first enter, you're greeted with a kitchen table in the middle, a bookcase with some flowers on top off to the left, a giant CRT TV next to the kitchen table, and it's the only view that we get of the kitchen as well. When we take a side view here, the first thing that really stands out to me and is a great example of the chaos and somewhat disorganization of Aerith's home is the fact that they chose to put a picture all the way off to the side here. Now, why Aerith and her mom would not have just centered it over the bookcase is beyond me, but that's just the start of the really odd things about this home. Next is the placement of the TV. Now, as gamers, we all know it's sort of a rule that we all just have to abide by. Never place a TV directly across from a big bright window, because you get the sunshine beaming through onto the screen and it just makes everything super hard to see. This also leads me to, where do they sit to watch? I guess they sit in these back-breaking chairs. In fact, if we take a look upstairs inside of Aerith's mom's room, they actually have a sofa that's just sitting there staring into a corner. There's nothing over here. There's nothing in this corner. There's no TV, there's no window, there's no nothing. So why not move that downstairs and have a nice comfortable spot to watch TV? Speaking of Aerith's mom's room, we definitely have to take a look and analyze this place. It appears like Aerith's mom is a bit of a slob. The bed itself is completely unmade. Everything is off-center and out of whack. She's got a box here just loaded with a bunch of junk. It looks like some sticks kind of just sticking out of there. No idea what's going on there. And then of course we just have the sofa that's just chilling here as well. Maybe she sleeps on that instead, who knows. The next thing that's just really odd about this room is the fact that there is a lonely little desk off in the corner. Nothing on top of it, seemingly no purpose, no chair either. But then you realize the true reason it's there, and that's because if you look closely, you'll notice that there is a loose floorboard that it's actually preventing people from tripping on. Considering this seems to be used as the guest room, especially like when Cloud comes over, it makes sense. You don't want people tripping and falling and hurting themselves. And while we're upstairs, we need to talk about the elephant in the room. The thing that has always bugged me every time I play Final Fantasy VII. What is going on with this dead end? There's nothing here. Perhaps there's a window or a door located at this area, but from the glimpse that we have here, there's absolutely no reason to have this dead end. Perhaps it leads to the outside balcony, but I always wondered, why doesn't Aerith just knock down this wall? Perhaps board this up here, put the wall here instead, and then what you can do is you can put the TV right here, right in this section, and then you can move the couch from Aerith's mom's room, set it up right here, and boom, you got a really comfortable little TV watching sofa area. Next, let's talk about Aerith's room itself. First of all, it's way nicer than her mom's room, and the first thing that really catches me off guard here in terms of either a work of genius or madness is the fact that the carpet is the exact shape that it needs to be to fit in the room. It's not square, it's not circle, it fits exactly in this weird little oddly shaped room. The bed is also nicely made with what appears to be a really nice Japanese print of some sort of bonsai tree with some cranes flying or something. But what's most important is the bed is made and it's nice and tidy. Moving up from there, we have to talk about yet another stroke of madness or genius is this bookshelf. Most bookshelves are perfectly rectangular or square, but this one is the perfect fit to go into this corner, telling us that it's handcrafted specifically for this part of the house. While not as bad as the downstairs picture frame, this one is definitely still off-center. There's way more room on the right side compared to the left side, so ideally they would need to shift the picture frame over just a little bit and then they'd be on to something. Before we head outside to try and figure out what's going on with the mysterious third floor, let's take a look at the kitchen. The kitchen is extremely small. There's no visible sink, perhaps it's located here, next to the window. But there also doesn't seem to be much room or things going on in here in general. We have one cupboard here holding some ingredients. Perhaps these are some herbs on top of this shelf here that they use for cooking. But in terms of what's for dinner, it looks like it's some kind of squash soup perhaps. Upon closer inspection, there also doesn't seem to be any kind of stove or heating element, so this pot here is apparently being boiled or stewed or cooked somewhere in order to produce this squash stew. So who knows? Before we leave though, I wanted to point out one more thing. Take a look at the shape of the house. Notice how it's a hexagon. Now look at the carpet. Once again, Aerith and her mom prove that they are masters of buying carpets that are in the exact shape of their home. When it comes to the outside, I don't really have any criticisms about the flower garden. I think it's actually one of the better features of the home. But when we move over here to the left, that's when I start to question things. The first concerning thing is the fact that this pipe is direct center of the walkway and is definitely a tripping hazard. Taking a closer look at the exterior, I just have so many questions. First of all, let's assume that this is Aerith's room here. It would make sense considering that her mom's room is to the left and this appears to be another wall with another triangular structure here, which would appear to be a window from the side. And then here's the window that appears to be the window from the hallway upstairs. So is this the dead end right here? So then the question that I have is, how do you access this balcony? Are there stairs back here perhaps that lead up? And of course the biggest mystery of all, what is this secret third story hidden back here? We can see that there are windows, so it definitely has a practical use. But inside the home, there's no stairs, no ladder, no nothing that leads up to this. The only thing that I can imagine is that this dead-end hallway actually does have a purpose. In fact, my theory is that there's a pull-down staircase on the ceiling right about here, and when you pull it down, it will reveal a set of stairs that lead straight up to the mysterious third story. Now, of course, if you examine the outside again, there's some confusions. Maybe this window here is on the dead-end hallway, and maybe the window that we see closer to the staircase is located about here. And let's just assume that you pulled down the staircase and it opened up sort of at this angle, leading upstairs. That may account for this dark spot right here, which may be the exit point that you can reach this outside balcony. And then this is a bit of a stretch, but perhaps you enter the third story from here instead. Obviously, there's some inconsistencies going on with the way that the outside architecture lines up with the inside, but all I know is I feel like this is a pretty solid theory that there is indeed some type of ladder, assuming this is somewhere by the dead end, that leads up straight into this building right here. The mysterious third floor that maybe you didn't even know existed in all of your playthroughs of Final Fantasy VII. If you enjoyed my analysis and breakdown on Aerith's home, be sure to subscribe because that's what this channel is focused on, hyper-analyzing homes and buildings in games such as RPGs. So be sure to check out more of my content coming in the future, and thank you for watching.